Hi, right. Shall I give you a bit of an update on the garage? I don't really like doing like update videos because they're just me talking a lot and showing you stuff rather than actually showing you the process of doing stuff. But I figured I've shown enough so far. It's worth me showing what's been going on because I think some of you would be interested. Right, so that was the original light. I've got another light there. And I've got an MK grid switch put in. So now I've also got second set of lights over there. So I've got lights in every corner, which is good now because it just means there's no dark patches. And this is what I was kind of talking about. I've only got these two circuits at the moment, working on it, but I've got these are blanks for future, expansion. I'll probably put in some lights here eventually. What I might even do is put like horizontal ones here so that it brings light down the side, because what I've noticed is it's still quite gloomy on the edges. So if I was going to be working on the vehicle, having a light that was right there pointed down would be quite useful. But yeah, lighting's really good. It means I can kind of see under the bonnet. At least at this end I can see under the bonnet a lot better by having a light down this end. So that's good. So lighting, yeah, I wired it up on myself. I quite enjoy wiring. The other thing I put in is this one, which is Soffit lights on the outside. Just gives me a bit of extra light when I'm walking around on the outside. And what I did was where are they? It's these ones, these integral LEDs. So what I did was, the positioning I wasn't quite sure, but I went with equidistant on the on the door, 3 on the door, and I wasn't sure about whether to do 1 or 2 on either side. But it's actually it's a lot brighter because it shines on the cladding. So I've just left with 1 on the cladding for the moment, near towards the end, so I can actually see a bit better at the doorway. These wired these up to a bit of flex and put them on a broomstick, and then walked around and filmed myself trying to figure out where I was going to place them. But they're up now, so they're wired. This is a 2-way switch here to the house, down that cable over there, and there's an intermediate switch on here as well. So this is basically the wiring goes up there, the feed goes over to the switch, which is a 2-way switch. It then comes back along here, down here through the intermediate switch, and down that cable, which goes off to the house. So I can turn the outside lights on here. I imagined I'd want to be able to do it here if I was, let's say, exiting the door here, or if I was coming into the door and I wanted to turn them on or off. And then I can do it at the house as well. So I can basically have them on when I go out and then turn them off once I get to the house. So I'm quite pleased with that. The other thing I've done is extended the sockets. So I've got a socket here for the Wi-Fi, and this one used to be here. I've moved that there so it's better charging. This is a radial circuit, so I'm just basically extending it with spurs. And back here as well, because this used to be just extension leads around here, and it was just all bundled up and prevent having to trip them over. So I've stuck these in, and these are kind of semi-permanent. The reason I've done it is spurs off of radials. I think in a more permanent fashion, you just loop them in down to the socket and back up along. I've just done like spurs with junction boxes, just to use up some shorter ends. So this is kind of semi-permanent. It'll all probably have to come off eventually. Well, I will do when I do all the boarding, whatever I want to board on here. Don't really know yet what I'm going to do, but I just wanted the wiring out of the way so I wasn't tripping over it. And the other factor is I've got to figure out where I actually want the sockets. Where is the best place for the sockets? I've got one here so I can run a fan in the back. This one's here to charge this one on the front, and also any other fans that I want to run sometimes when there's condensation. So this is just a good, semi-permanent way of figuring out where's the best place for the sockets before I completely lock it in future. Got a few things hanging up as well, just get stuff off got the hook for the Velux windows, the ladder and other bits and pieces, just generates a bit of space on the floor, which is nice. This is my dumping corner. I finished all the insulation that I've got as well. This is the foot. Well, I've only got a couple of little off bits there, but that's the full insulation done for what I've paid for. That was 1 pallet right around there, and a bit of that as well. So that was 1 pallet. Cash flow's been a bit tight, so I don't really want to do anymore at the moment. Not really. It's protecting noise going that way, which is one of the main ambitions of doing that. Thermal properties doesn't really make much difference at the moment because it's open vented eaves, so it still gets relatively cold. What is it, 7 degrees outside, 9 degrees in here, so there's still a bit of a buffer. But it does buffer the humidity a lot. So probably this winter, since they've been in, there's only been about 3 days where there's been condensation on the vehicles because of it going cold to warm and all the moisture coming into the garage. So that's been really good compared to when they're in the tents, which is every day they get condensation on them. So that's been really good. So that's at least ticked that one off. I'm not really worrying about heating or further insulation for the time being. So when it comes to the door and moisture, so a few people said on the moisture coming through the slats, a lot of people said on the comments in that video that that's not normal. So I got the company out and they were like, first of all, they were like, yeah, we can sew you a seal to the bottom to stop the water coming in. And I said, no, it's not coming in the bottom. It's coming through the door and leaking down. And that's what's creating the puddle. So they came out and they said, well, I've never seen that in 10 years. And we got the hose pipe out and there was a guy on the inside filmed it and they sprayed the hose pipe from the outside and it did nothing. And I was like, oh, one of those intermittent faults. And he was like, it's probably moisture on the inside because when you roll this up, the outside goes round and it brings moisture onto the inside. And I was like, okay, fair enough. It happened again last week. It happened here in the middle, and I think it's just when there's wind. For some reason, well, it's driving water in, but it flexes in the middle, and it from about here downwards, it just drives in water. So having that lip's been great. To be honest, I think I'm just going to live with it. Having the lip's great because it doesn't actually send water across the floor. On the condensation, this door is quite porous, so when the wind hits this and you get a lot of there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, it's wet and windy, this does get condensation on the floor. So this is quite porous most of the time. The humidity between outside and inside, this is protected quite a lot because the airflow doesn't, water vapor doesn't move in that quickly, except when it's windy, and you can feel the wind coming in, it just gushes through. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do any more sort of moisture control strategies, particularly for the time being. I'll probably put up the vapor membrane that I've got and put that around just as a way of kind of trying to seal the structure a bit more before I put anything else on. See how that goes. The floor, that'll be the project for the summer. I've got to wash all this off. You can see we've got tire marks, going on it. A lot of mud on here. Wash it off and paint it with some kind of epoxy or something like that this summer. And yeah, for the moment, I've bought some really cheap, like 10 quid doormats. These work. I love these because they're great because they're plastic backed, so they're basically oil resistant. They absorb it in here, and it'll just stop the oil getting on the concrete. So I don't have to wash it to put before I put the paint down. Oh, do you like my new Crocs? So this is my philosophy, as I want to be. Enter the garage clean, leave the garage clean. So I've got, I basically have to walk across a field to, with those Crocs. These are my, you've been seeing these on videos for a long time. These are my non-safety safety Crocs. Well, these are actually my safety Crocs. These are, slip, oil resistant, proper stuff. There's the brand if you're interested, Port West. Steel toe capped as well. So these are and the fact that I can just slip them on and off is amazing. So next priorities. I really want to put shelving up so I can start moving stuff in because I've got a lot of stuff still in the house and I want to get it all here. Plus I want a workbench I've already talked about, but I haven't got around to this yet. But I've got this tool. There was a good deal at Halfords. Picked these up quite cheap, so that's like a top one to my other roller one that I've got. Be nice to have a workbench, but this is kind of my temporary workbench at the moment. Same, I've got some twin slot racking on here, which will go up here, and I need to board this first. Yeah, I'm just trying to manage cash flow at the moment because I've been piling a lot of money into this and it's been a bit tricky. So I'm probably going to go a bit slower. The floors, one I have to do in the summer, but they've got a few months before that. The driveway is really the priority because these As you can see, these they bring in a lot of mud. It's just a quagmire outside. It's going to get better now. We'll move into the spring and summer, but this is the time I need to focus. I want to focus on the garage, trying to sort out the garden a little bit. So that'll be the next phase, really. Focusing on that. And the original plan was to have a lift, and people keep asking me about a lift. Oh, I don't know. At the moment, I haven't put enough thought into that yet. Whether the original plan is to have a 2-poster about here. I'm half thinking about a 4-poster kind of in here, but I still need to think about that. I'm also thinking about how can I put in some kind of lift so I can get the roof rack back on this one, because it was really hard getting it off. It's pretty heavy, so I'm thinking about having some kind of block and tackle just for lighter stuff, not for lifting the body or anything, but up there. So I'm thinking about that as well. Yeah, and a lot of stuff I'm doing with the website. So you'll see here I've got a bulkhead. Project that I've picked this one up. Yeah, I don't tell the missus, I don't spend money on, from her perspective, I tell her I don't spend money on Land Rover parts, I invest in Land Rover parts. I've invited her many times to invest into Land Rover parts and she's declined, but there we go, this is an investment. Currently looking for a lot of grommets for this actually. If anyone, well, part numbers, so I need the grommet in here, not the pipe. This is the AC drain hole. So there's the grommet that the AC pipe goes through, and then there's the bung when you don't have AC. I'm looking for those 2 grommets, either the part number or if anyone's got a spare one. And I also want, I know the ones where you got these are the 2 washer pipes. One for the front, one for the rear. So this one's got a blanking plug when you haven't got a rear window, like on a pickup. And I don't know what the part number is for that, so I'm looking for one of those. The other one I'm looking for is that plug on a TD5. This is for the throttle cable on a 300 TDI, and I'm looking for that grommet as well. If anyone knows the part number or has one spare, I'd be much appreciated. And I've also picked up some good steel wheels. They're pretty good actually. They're kind of, what are they? Around about 2008. These are 2008. Pretty good condition. So they'll be nice. I really like the steel wheels, and I also like the boosts. But these ones, I don't know, they were a good deal. And they're Michelin XPCs, so they're age appropriate for that one over there. That one came with those from the factory. So they're pretty old tyres these days, but I just couldn't help myself. Yeah, other things interesting. Got this C24 here. It's not treated, but it's all going mouldy. Same with the plywood. That's the 18mm plywood that I'm going to use for, the idea is to use it for the workbench, and that's all going disgusting and mouldy as well. But in general, it's pretty good in here. I'm very pleased about this. Yeah, I've got a lot of other Defender projects to do, working on that one, and some other videos to make about that vehicle, all the stuff I did on that one last year, which I couldn't put videos out because of working on this garage. But yeah, got a lot of other things I want to publish. Anyway, that's where we're at. So when I publish the videos that are going to come up, you're not going to be like, oh, what's all the stuff happened to the garage? Now you know. Anyway, if you've got any questions, then leave them down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.